Today we're going to be reacting to the worst character assassination I've ever seen by Tighnari. And this is gonna go over that nigga from Street Fighter. Remember Alex? That nigga. Bro, this is my first time gonna hear about the lore. I heard a little bit of stuff, but I didn't really calculate in my mind. Anyways, we're just gonna watch the video. Make sure you guys subscribe. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers on the second account as well. And we are on the road to getting the second account, this account that you're seeing right now, monetized. And we are gonna reach that for real. We a very ambitious person, and I love doing what I love doing. It's just the craft. And I love reacting to videos too. I do a multiple other amount of things too. So let's react to this.
Alex Winger is a humble wrestler hailing from New York City, whose parents were taken from him at a young age. He was adopted by a man named Tom, who was a friend of his father and later would become his mentor and personal trainer. Alex was originally intended to replace Ryu as a protagonist when he was first introduced with the Street Fighter III sub-series in 1997. The trilogy takes place long after Street Fighter II, and a good chunk of 2's roster isn't present. Due to these reasons, and also lack of sales, every Street Fighter game up until Street Fighter VI takes place before Street Fighter III. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this timeline either. Despite this, since
that timeline is ridiculous, son. Street Fighter's timeline has always been ridiculous. But I think the best Street Fighter game has to be Street Fighter 4. It has to. The competitive scene was up. Bro, we had Capcom Cup, Evo, we had all that stuff. Vanilla Street Fighter 4 was going ridiculous when it dropped, son. Tournaments. Did you guys see that match with Justin Wong and Daigo in Vanilla? The competitive scene was up the fucking roof, bro. Popped up on the trailers. There were already news articles online about this shit, bro. We can all agree that Street Fighter 4 was one of the best, if not the best, Street Fighter games of all time. In my opinion, it's the best. I got like over 100 wins in that game. My main was Evil Ryu, and Gouken, and Seth, and Akuma, and Ryu. Yeah, I was maining everybody, bro. I was maining everyone. I was ridiculous at the game.
Fighter 3, he's been a well-beloved and respected character who has a lot going on.
Third Strike is up there too.
He scores a win against Balrog, Gil, goes toe-to-toe with Ryu, and after all that, gets to go home to his adoptive dad and little sister, Patricia. The picture I'm trying to paint here is of a character who, on top of having a cool design and some intriguing lore, had a random ass Hiroshima bomb dropped on his whole reputation. It wasn't until after they hyped his release to Hell and Back that Alex is revealed to have married and impregnated Patricia. And look, it sounds bad, but I don't think you actually understand how bad this is. Tom took me in after my folks died. Tom is a cousin of my mom and friend of my dad. They're just about the best kids you could ask for a dad. He is my trainer, manager, and adoptive dad. No, he is my dad. Nigga.
Nah. Now I understand what the fucking outrage was. I'm so late on this shit, bro. I am so late on this shit. Hey, let's
what? The worst part is not the incest. Wait, no, let me finish. The worst part is even if they would retcon the incest, which Street Fighter is not a stranger to retcons at all. Trust me, it would still be weird as hell. For just about 30 years, they've been portrayed as siblings, not blood siblings, but adoptive siblings. For some reason, in Street Fighter 6, they made it so that they were cousins, which wasn't a thing. Even if they removed that, Patricia is still someone that Alex grew up with, to the point where he literally held her as an infant. I've seen some interesting fighting game characters in my day. All right, we've talked about quite a few.
Bro, this nigga Alex,
here on the Tighnari channel.
Major plot.
But this might actually be the worst fighting game lore I've ever seen in my life. Noob and Necalli are in a similar boat where they will always be the secondary villain that neither the primary villain nor the antagonist align with. In other words, Doom, except Bi-Han is crucial to the lore of Mortal Kombat and has been since the very beginning, whilst Necalli was in one Street Fighter game and one Street Fighter only. Nina's targets are primarily the Mishimas, the main characters of the franchise who aren't going anywhere, and is also the prime example of pretty privilege with her fine ass. In other words, doomed to fail. With Alex, Nothing was really wrong with it prior. Somebody was just in the writing room like, I'm about to fuck up this man's whole career. His lore is now worse than any other Street Fighter character because of something that has nothing to do with the overall story of Street Fighter. The romance aspect of Alex's story has never been a thing before Street Fighter 6. Nigga, how hard is it to write a story about niggas fighting? You had to make it about incest? I think I'd rather lose every single fight I've ever been in. I think I'd rather have no flaws. Jokes aside, I feel like they maybe they missed a step where they look at this entire concept on paper and think, is this steaming pile of dog shit something that we should introduce to a character whose reputation has been solid for like the past 30 years? And apparently him being a husband to his second cousin and sister isn't enough. He also has to be a bum-ass dad on top of it. This nigga got the player doing random-ass errands for his baby because it's not his thing. You gonna have to buy your little cousin them diapers.
I know this is crazy to picture, okay? But relax with me, all right? Relax. Imagine being a husband to your sister. I know we already fucked up. We already fucked up right there. Keep in mind, this has been your sister too. And you also a deadbeat on top of that. Like, it's already worse that it's incest, but you made it, nigga. What? Ow. Yo, son. Let's continue, bro. Let's continue, though.
By the way, do you remember when I said Street Fighter is not a stranger to retcons?
For real.
Well, what do you know? I'm not gonna bore you with the specifics, but the Japanese version basically avoids their sibling relationship entirely. So the Street Fighter 3 story is no longer canon. The part of Alex's lore that people actually like is not a thing anymore. Now it's retconned so that Alex never really grew up with Tom and Patricia, at least not to the extent that would give reason to the assumption that they are siblings. And Tom wasn't enough of a role model or father figure in Patricia's life, so Alex had to be the one to
I know, that is a crazy ass retcon, bro. That's ridiculous.
Tractor. As if that's supposed to be heartwarming. Now Tom is just LARPing as LTG. Tom wasn't a good enough father, so that makes Alex Patricia's stepfather, husband, and cousin. As for Tom being a cousin of Alex's mom, that's probably still a thing, or it just wasn't mentioned at all. Look, I don't know, man. This is the first time I've ever seen an emergency patch for lore in a game, and I'm not even exactly sure what it's fixing. You can't unfuck his cousin. It already happened. The results are in. Anyways, lots of people are also getting caught up in the semantics of the whole situation. You know, they're saying stuff like, oh,
you can't unfuck his cousin.
It's a common theme among Japanese media. Westerners are just ignorant of customs. And I mean, it's not illegal. It's only like second cousin, so who cares? I, for one, have never seen so many niggas assembled like the Avengers to defend incest of all things. Maybe I am just a filthy Westerner and a tourist for thinking incest is bad, but I didn't know that was a hot take. Sorry, I don't want to fuck my cousin, nigga. I also don't think legality is the issue here. What? I wouldn't base my morals on what is and isn't legal where I live, but that's a whole different conversation. A lot of people defending this also probably like know nothing of Alex and his story, and they're just arguing for the love of being a family man. I also don't think it was intentional. Maybe it was like a power creep of a mistake due to multiple people working on something they don't know or care that much about with no communication. That feels easier to believe than them consciously assassinating this character. Then you got the people saying, who cares about story in fighting games? First of all, me, nigga. Second of all, even if no one cares, it gets to a point. When the nonsense of a fighting game plot is stuff like, you know, a character dying multiple times, that's cool. That's cool and all. But when it's something like,
hey, Hachi, that nigga got thrown in a volcano like how many times? I lost count. And the nigga's still alive. I should have sworn we saw that nigga die in Tekken 7. I should have sworn we saw that nigga die.
First fighting game character to ever impregnate their sister. Not that anybody's keeping track of that metric anyway. But for something like this, that it quite literally becomes impossible to ignore. I, for one, I could not fathom something like this happening to my favorite fighting game character. As much as I want Sean back, Capcom, please, bro. This actually reminds me of Asuka's ending in Tekken 5 when they had Jin fall smack bang into his cousin's Babylons. And since then, they've been slowly trying to play it off like, okay, they're not actually cousins. It's more like family friend. If I had a nickel for every time a pair of characters in a fighting game were originally established to be relatives, but the devs try to retcon that later after the relatives do some weird shit, I would have 2 nickels. Why do I have 2 nickels? I just don't understand why it had to be Patricia. Just make up a random woman. It's fiction. You can do that. It would still be wholesome as hell seeing Alex marry and, have a child. They didn't have to make Tom and Alex's mom related. That wasn't even a thing before Street Fighter 6. That serves no other purpose than a fun fact and also an additional layer of questionability to this relationship. I never thought this string of words would ever leave my mouth. Incest aside, I still think he's a cool character. He doesn't have anything about his story that
Actually, now I'm thinking about it, I don't really think he a cool character like that. Like, I fuck with the big moves, like that little slash he be doing in Power Crush, whatever the fuck he be doing. But I couldn't really care. I don't really care about Alex all that much. I'm gonna be real with you. He was an eye character to me. The character that really caught my eye was fucking Urien and Akuma and Oni. Characters like that. And Seth. Not this nigga. Not this nigga.
It's real slander outside of this, except for, I wasn't gonna say anything originally, but since we're on the topic of Alex, they was calling you racist because Dawson teleported in front of you and you thought he was a mugger and try to fight him. I don't know why a nigga teleport in front of you and the first thing you think is they want your money, but he is heavily inspired by Hulk Hogan. So maybe the racist accusations are too far off. I'll be honest, I never really gave Alex a second thought before this, but I always thought he had an awesome design in 3. I didn't really like his design in 5. His new design in 6 is awesome. After finding out what they did to his story, I literally had to talk about it. I also simultaneously feel terrible. I feel terrible for Alex fans. I've also been meaning to make more Street Fighter content as of late, so expect more of that on the way.
Look at this nigga physique though, son.
Short video, but that is all for today. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.
Okay, that video was a little something, bro. I'm not even gonna lie, y'all Alex fans are cooked to the fucking breath. Damn, that's all I gotta say. I'm thinking about it. I'm not even gonna lie. Just seeing that video, straight off that video, your boy. I might get the game. I might. That's a big might. I need to watch more gameplay, but I might get the game. To me right now, I feel like Tekken is a better game than Street Fighter. For me, right? But I have a deep love for Street Fighter. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I love that game. And your boy might get it. But might. Just a big might. Big might. Who knows? I'll decide.